Good afternoon. This is Adam Bullock here, commissioned with the dish for Pigskin Isn't Just for Cooking podcast. I'm here with Evan Forbes, a.k.a. Kissing Cousins. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. I'm ready to talk about football some more. This is like my favorite day of the week now because now we're in our weekly, hopefully.
Our rotation,
I'm
yeah.
hoping, right?
And football starting. It's right around the corner. 6 days away, man.
Almost taste it.
6 days away. It's going to be a fun one today. We have a lot of news from around the league. 53-man roster cuts. It happened. Teams are finalized.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to go over, to start with, mainly injury news. Going into our scares and terrors coming up. More roster cut takeaways and league moves.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you all enjoy. Let's kick it off. I'm going to kick it to you, Evan Forbes, for the news.
And I think I have a sound bite for that should work. And it won't, so you'll have to just listen to it later, Adam.
Da-na-na, da-na-na. And the news with Evan Forbes.
So I'm going to put the soundbite in here.
Who will the Patriots' #1 receiver be this weekend? My brothers are fantasy warriors. We share our knowledge with one another. Whatever my brother knows, I know. And all of their knowledge will be mine. I'm gonna crush you guys this week.
Okay, how hilarious was that soundbite, Adam? Wasn't that
That was
funny?
fantastic.
Oh, it was the best.
I'm so happy we're doing sound bites now.
I'm so glad you got to hear that live. News. So, the main one I'm going to start off with is the Brian Robinson injury.
So sad.
And it's not even a football injury. For those who don't know, which I can't imagine is anybody at this point, Brian Robinson, running back for the Washington Commanders, shot twice during an attempted carjacking on his day off. He got Saturday off, and then the next day this happens. It's the saddest thing ever. Wish him best. These guys are, these are people. They're not just players on our teams. They have families. They have people who care about them, and
we wish him well. We wish him a quick recovery.
Yes,
he was the star of the preseason, and that is such an unfortunate thing to happen.
It's the worst, the absolute worst. But non-fatal. He's on the recovery. All signs point to he's doing well as far as him and himself. Football completely aside. So, that's the big one. I hope he gets better as soon as he can. Next thing I have, Sam Darnold is official. 4 to 6 weeks he's out.
That's
with that high ankle sprain.
Yeah, high ankle sprains will do that. 4 to 6 weeks. I think that sounds pretty average. He's not a starter.
You got Baker Mayfield.
Baker's the starter over there.
Yeah.
So this doesn't have a huge fantasy impact.
No,
unless Baker Mayfield goes out and gets crushed.
Absolutely.
Week 1.
Absolutely. That would be the only reason that would come up. But other than that, I mean, if you've got Baker Mayfield as a quarterback, you probably have another quarterback. And you're not worrying about having his backups.
Right. He's a young quarterback. We play Dynasty, so he will definitely still be rostered, I hope, out there. He is. Do we know whose team he's on?
Baker Mayfield?
No, Sam Darnold.
Oh, Darnold? I want to say Melvin? I don't think that's right.
It is Melvin. You're completely right.
I am good.
Yeah, we're on it. We are on it today, let me tell you.
So, yeah, it's something to watch. But, again, he's probably wasn't going to be your starter no matter what. So, moving on, Deontay Johnson, wide receiver from Pittsburgh. He had a shoulder injury during a preseason game. Landed pretty awkwardly on his shoulder. Looked pretty rough. Says he should be ready for week 1. So
I believe that.
Yeah.
I really believe that. I think he will be ready for week 1. It's probably good news for George Pickens owners or anybody else on the wide receiving team.
Well, I'll tell you right now, it's going to be good news for Dan in our league because he is not very strong in his wide receiver department right now, and he needs Deontay Johnson to be healthy pretty much all season. Because if he's not, he's going to have some issues in that department. I mean, he's got Odell Beckham, who isn't even on a team yet. He does have Allen Lazard, who might get a little bit more work now that they don't have Devontae Adams in Green Bay.
I really think Allen Lazard's going to blow up this year, to be honest.
And Amari Rodgers or just Allen Lazard?
Lazard. I think Lazard's the man. That's just me. He's super huge. He's going to be a great receiver.
Okay.
I have total belief that I think he's the guy. I'm Alan Lazard all the way. To be
Right on.
honest.
So, yeah, if something happens to, if Johnson were to miss any extended amount of games, he does have that. I will say, though, he's got some bye week issues because he drafts, a lot of Cowboys, and they typically have the same bye week together.
Hey, Amari Cooper going to Cleveland was the best thing for him.
That is true.
I think between CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, he played them at the same time. He did okay.
Which didn't make sense last year to me.
It worked for him. I was super surprised. We gave him a lot of guff.
It worked for him. I didn't see him in the playoffs.
Well, true. But to be fair, playing 3 Cowboys a week, he got more wins. I think he had a better win record than I did. Although I did win the toilet bowl. So
that's all that matters.
I made my first round draft pick, which I traded away. But no, it was a lot of fun.
So there. Deontay Johnson, we should see you on the field week 1.
I believe that, yeah.
Next up, I've got Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
MVS.
Receiver for Kansas City this year. This is his 5th year in. He's 27 years old. He is officially out of concussion protocol. So week 1, he should be good. Which is good for him because I think he's going to do better in Kansas City.
I agree. It's a better opportunity. Maybe not a better quarterback.
Sure.
Than Aaron. Aaron Rodgers is. He's a great quarterback, and I think he spoke to it earlier in the week, being like
MVS did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the comparisons, but no, I think he's gonna be good. He's a very quick wide receiver. He ran a 4.37 40.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, which is real quick. Not as quick as Tyreek Hill.
I was going to ask if you had a number for him as far
I think
as
he was a
4.29.
4.29.
Okay. This guy, on top of his dome.
Yeah.
I like it.
Uh,
We'll see if that's a correction next week.
yeah, we'll see. I think he was a 4.29. Tyreek Hill is super quick.
Nice.
Is MVS going to be the number 1 over there at Kansas City? I don't believe so.
Okay.
Could he
be?
Could he be? Absolutely.
I'll say because I've got last year he had 26 receptions for 430 yards. Doesn't sound like a lot. That is 16.5 yards per catch, though. He's averaged over his season, or over his career, 17.5 yards per catch. So he does a lot with what is given to him. And like I said, I think if you don't have Devontae Adams taking your targets away, and like you said, you don't have Alan Lazard taking some targets away, I think he's going to do a lot better in Kansas City.
Yeah, but that's a tough one because there's also Travis Kelce.
Okay.
There's Mecole Hardman.
Who will draw targets.
There's also Juju Smith.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about Juju.
It's a crowded field. Could he end up being their number 1? Yes. That's not who I want to be their number 1. I'm a Mecole Hardman owner. I want Hardman to be number 1. Absolutely. He's actually quicker.
Now, does that scare you, being a Hardman owner, that MVS is coming over here to KC?
Yes.
Okay.
When I saw Tyreek Hill being shipped off to Miami, I'm like, oh, it's the year of the Hardman, And then they're like, they picked up Juju and MVS.
Yeah.
But Hardman is actually quicker with a 4.33 40.
You think they picked up both those people only because they lost Tyreek Hill? Like Tyreek Hill is worth an MVS and a Juju Smith-Schuster?
No, I think they were planning on picking up someone else anyway.
Okay.
But they got a lot of capital out of shipping off Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And I bet, to be honest, I think Hill. We don't know this for sure. There hasn't been anything, but I kind of think he was not good in the locker room. I think he was
behind the scenes stuff.
Right. I think he's got some. I don't know, maybe some Antonio Brown stuff going on around there.
You don't want that.
No. This high and mighty wide receiver.
Sure.
Could cause issues. That's just speculation. I have no clue. This
yeah,
probably is not real, but it's just something that goes on in my head that I think about.
Speculation will be the theme of this podcast.
Absolutely. It's dynasty football, and it's fantasy football in general. It's all speculation.
Exactly.
It's a luck-based game.
Yeah, there is skill. I mean, I don't want to bring it up again, but you don't win 3 championships in a row purely based on luck. But a lot.
Shout out to you, Raul.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, kind of feeding into that Tyreek Hill, my next news is my guy, Jalen Waddle, wide receiver out of Miami. Undisclosed lower body issues. I'm not super worried about it, but it doesn't make me feel super secure either, especially with Tyreek Hill coming in. I was kind of looking forward to target on the field like Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. You know, just that thing. You know, if he's going to draw more coverage, maybe Waddle will get out and burn some yards and get some more catches.
Right.
Because last year, it was Waddle. He was the guy last year. Now this year, like I said, Tyreek Hill, hopefully that does well for my guy. Last year, Waddle had, in our fantasy league, 13.6 points per game. I would love to keep that average a little bit higher. So, yeah, he should be ready for the opener. And like I said, I'll just kind of see what that means for his season.
Right. I think he can still average that. I don't see him going over that amount.
Sure.
13.6 per game. I think Miami, with the way they've built, with the new system, that they can sustain 2 top wide receivers. I know he kind of took over Devontae Parker last year, but he's now back, and he's not back, but he's now in New England. But yeah, I think he can do it. I think they can sustain it. They have a good running back core.
Yeah.
I was surprised that they dropped Sony Michel, but we will cover that later, I'm sure.
We will. Yeah, we will.
And no, I think you have a great young wide receiver that has a high average from last year, and I think that he can sustain that, to be very honest.
Just anytime it's an undisclosed injury, I'm not super psyched about that. But they're confident for week 1, so why shouldn't I be?
Oh, undisclosed. That's the whole Bill Belichick stuff. They're playing games with us.
The Dolphins want to be the Patriots so bad. Next on my list is J.K. Dobbins, running back for Baltimore. The report I read that he has a noticeable limp. Not great. Not great news.
It's better than being in a boot.
It is better than being a boot, but I mean, J.K. Dobbins, it didn't play at all last year. Blew up at the end of 2020. I'll talk about it later. But noticeable limp a week before season 1, not a good sign. So something to keep your eye on. He's Beatles' guy. We'll talk about Ravens running backs a little bit later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Couple more here. James Robinson, running back out of Jacksonville. He's got some Achilles issues. Last I read, he was still in non-contact practice.
He's coming back.
That's what everybody's saying.
He's on the way. I read this morning that he will be tried to be used mildly in week 1. We'll see if that happens. We don't know. It's right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
I mean, that's just a few more days of healing. That's scary for me as a Etienne owner.
I read, though, that Etienne is going to probably do a lot of the passing down work, which is good.
Fantastic. Please let it go. He's reunited with his quarterback from college.
Is that right?
Yes. And he lost the whole season 1 to a Linz Frank injury. Is that how we call it? Is it a Linz Frank?
As much as I
Frank?
looked it up last night and talked to my wife about it, couldn't tell you how to pronounce it.
I'm going to call it a Linz Frank injury.
Liz Frank.
Yes.
Lisa Frank art. Lisa Frank, those crazy unicorn colorful.
Oh yes.
Sketch?
Yeah, very fun. That's awesome. I love
Liz
it.
Frank.
The Liz Frank injury. All about the foot, and running backs need their feet.
They typically do.
That's for sure. Speaking of Liz Frank, Najee Harris.
Yes. Najee Harris. Running back out of Pittsburgh. Apparently he's dealing with this Liz Frank injury. It's a, like you said, top of the foot injury. So, and again, I will talk about this later, but right now the news said that he is in week 4 of a 4 to 6 week injury. He's still playing preseason games. So what does that do for the injury?
How's that healing?
We'll talk about it later.
How's it healing?
'Cause-
I want to talk about this now, but I get it. It's in our next segment.
because this is a little scary for me, so that's in a scary section.
Yeah, scaries and terries.
But Johnny's got him, and I hope Johnny's listening because maybe we have some advice for him.
Yeah, bench him. Bench him when we play him.
The last person on my list for our injury news and updates is Miles Sanders, running back out of Philadelphia. He is officially back at practice from all his injury stuff. Daskell's got him. The one note I took away was that Miles Sanders had absolutely no touchdowns last year.
Isn't that crazy? As the number 1 running back, 0 touchdowns.
Wild, dude.
It was like just like Cole Kmet having no touchdowns last year and catching over 60 passes.
Is that right?
Yeah, Cole Kmet had 0 touchdowns last year as well.
Oh, I did not know that.
So like, here's these number 1s not scoring. So we're expecting an increase in that. There has to be.
You can only get better than 0 touchdowns.
You've seen the floor. Now look up at the ceiling. It's there, right?
That is good stuff.
It's
Is
there.
good stuff.
So Daskell, play Miles Sanders. You got this, bud.
Yeah, and I hope Miles Sanders scores touchdowns this year because he is one of Daskell's main running backs that he's going to be leaning on. So here's to him. But yeah, that 0 touchdown thing that shocked me. I had to bring it up.
Absolutely. That's just let's try out this next soundbite for
Ready for our scares and terrors section?
and terrors.
All right, here we go.
You scared the shit out of me.
Everybody's freaking out.
You're scared.
My season is over. My season is over.
And we are getting good at this. It is happening. Look at this. We're using sound bites and everything. We are moving our way up.
For those who don't know, Adam and I were both actually able to hear that soundbite. The last one, I'm going to have to put it in post because it wouldn't play. But this is the first soundbite that Adam's pretty much officially heard. Honestly, as soon as Raul said something on the message boards about doing sound clips, and then you said something about there being a soundboard on GarageBand, I immediately, that's what my project was. Like, I know enough about the league where I could probably pick some sound clips, because that's what that sound clip was from, is the league.
Credit to the league.
And I've always loved those videos that like take scary music and put it under innocuous things. Like there's the one, Toby Flenderson from The Office.
Yeah.
Like him being the Scranton Strangler. There's a video like that. Just a suspenseful music under a bunch of him saying stuff. I've always loved those videos. I've always kind of like wanted to do that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
This is a perfect opportunity for it.
It sounded great. Great clip. I'm excited to do more.
Yeah. So scares and terrors. Scary things that we're not super worried about, and then terrifying things for the season. My first scary thing is, like we briefly touched on, Sony Michel. He's with the Chargers now. He was in Miami, which I thought was great. I'm like, hey, I've got my own handcuff with Chase Edmonds. Perfect. Mm-hmm. You know, he doesn't have very many people. We got Myles Gaskin behind him, I think, still. Myles Gaskin.
Are you the owner of Sony Michel?
What's that?
You own Sony Michel?
I do own Sony Michel.
Hey, good for you. He's back in LA. He plays great in LA.
He plays great in LA, but he's got a lot of backfield competition in LA.
True, but he's gonna take that over. I think it's scary for Isaiah Spiller owners. Jarmolowski owns Isaiah Spiller, the rookie picked up. Mm-hmm. He made it to third string. Now he's down to fourth string. Like that's, but they're committed to him. I think he was drafted for a reason. He's gonna be there.
Spiller, yeah.
He's probably the next Eckler over there, but it's gonna take some time to get there.
My issue is I don't think Austin Eckler is very injury prone. Is he? I don't know.
Well, when I owned him before, a few years back, he was injury prone. Okay. It happens. And that's fine. I think he has the potential to be a top 5 running back this year. Not Michel, but Eckler.
I'm looking at really fast. Last year, Eckler missed 1 game. In 2020, he missed 6 games. Might have been a COVID issue because that was going around in 2020.
I think that was the year I had him. I'm like, 6 games? Bro.
Yeah. But 2019, didn't miss a single game. 2018, missed 2 games. So, I loved having my own handcuff for
Right.
Chase Edmonds when
Absolutely.
Sony Michel's in Miami. I'm really bummed out. I'm a little scared if he's... I had high expectations for Sony Michel in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
They have been severely tempered.
But here, listen to this. Here, this might heal your scare a little bit.
Let's do it.
Sony Michel averaged 16.6 points per game in the playoffs last year for the Rams.
Okay.
In the playoffs.
Okay.
He was at an average 86% snap rate. So it is shown the guy can play playoff football, which is, you consider that the toughest football
Sure.
at a high rate of play.
You're saying he could possibly usurp Joshua Kelly for a number 2?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. He
Sorry, Daskell.
will. He will. Did Joshua Kelly get picked up?
Daskell's got him.
Okay. I saw Kelly on the waiver wire maybe last week.
Oh, okay. So it might have been a new acquisition.
Right.
So yeah, that's one of my scares. I'm a little scared. It's not going to ruin my whole season, but
But it was nice to have a handcuff and on a high offensive team like Miami.
right, another thing.
Right.
So
I get that for sure. My number one scare, not a terror, this week is facing you week 1, Forbes.
oh man,
Bro.
listening to him buttering me up.
Dude. It's gonna be tough. We've always had tough matchups. I think some of our closest games.
I never like
In
going
the
against
league.
you. I never
Yes.
like it.
It's tough. We're only slated a 6-point difference,
Uh-huh.
which is it's not the closest in the league, but it's pretty darn close. I think the closest matchup this upcoming week will be the game of the week. I feel Chris Alex and Raul.
Yeah, I mean we were literally separated by a touchdown,
Yes,
6 points.
it's anyone's game, and that's where the luck comes in.
That's why, honestly, I'm glad it's this way for week 1. I wouldn't want it any other way than a nice, close game. You even got a Monday night player.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
And I haven't even got to look that far. I'm too
Yeah.
busy looking at next year.
You've got Russell Wilson playing Monday night.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, against,
Now that's a guaranteed touchdown.
and he's playing
Russell-
against his Seahawks.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love it. Wait, and he just got that fat extension. Yeah.
4 years?
4 years,
that-
like 275 million, something like that.
Something nasty.
That's what. Why can't I make that much money?
Because you're not a professional football player. Again, I don't really like going against you, but, I always have fun.
Oh, it's gonna be a great week 1, and I can't wait to watch it with you and rub it in your face.
Yeah, week 1. Speaking of, and we'll talk about that at the end of the podcast.
Sure.
Okay, so I've got one more scary, and that is the Najee Harris.
Call me Nige.
Norge. That's what Johnny's name is for him. Najee Harris, this Liz Frank injury. I touched on it briefly. He says, and they say, that he is in week 4 of a 4 to 6 week injury. He has been playing preseason games.
That's not healing.
I took a look on the internet last night, did a little research, and I talked to my wife, who has, studied this stuff before. And from what I've read, well, first of all, the Liz Frank injury it's in the ligaments or bones in the middle of the top of your foot, and it's if they're fractured, sprained, dislocated, whatever it is. I've read 3 to 6 months to recover. The thing that stuck out at me was 6 to 8 week recovery with staying off your foot entirely.
Wow. And he's not doing that. He's playing preseason.
Playing preseason.
Right.
I'm scared. I think they're underplaying this injury severely because Najee Harris is a monster running back.
He's a workhorse, bro.
4th most rushing yards last season, 2nd highest in rushing attempts last season.
Yes.
He's a monster.
And they're relying on that. And that was his rookie season. They worked him.
Yes, rookie season came
Right.
out and just dominated.
Give it to him.
So I understand the injury, but I don't understand the downplaying of it because it's the top of your foot when you're pushing off. And again, I talked to my wife about it.
Literally
a
connects
little
your
bit.
toes to your foot, I feel.
Yeah.
Like it's where the metatarsals? Probably something like that. Because the carpals are in the hand, so the tarsals
Yeah.
are in the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one bone that connects up in there, and it just moves out, and oh man, I couldn't even imagine.
I'd feel a lot better had this cat not played any preseason games.
Right.
And I don't know why they had him play preseason games. Like, you're relying on this guy for the rest of the season.
Yes.
Why are you risking this injury? Unless...
Because they don't have a star quarterback. They have the star running back. They've transformed into one of those teams.
Yeah, it's going to be a running back heavy team. Yes. So it's scary for me. I am very worried that, 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to be more serious than it is right now. But I don't think it is necessarily a season-long worry. We'll just see in a couple of weeks. We'll see if he has any more injury updates after he actually plays 100% week 1 and week 2.
Man, yeah, that's scary. Scary, Johnny. Good luck, bud.
Seriously, good luck. That's all I've got for my scaries, my scarers.
Well, I'm going to my terrors. Something that absolutely horrifies me.
Yeah.
Is the chatter, and this will be about my team specifically.
Okay.
The chatter about David Montgomery.
Which, as a Bears fan, I am also, just in general.
I read the coaches like him. He's a great guy, but they just don't know if he fits their scheme. And that is, excuse me?
Yeah.
Like, it's David Montgomery. He's one of the best offensive weapons for the Bears.
Yeah. Is this coaches saying this, by the way? Or
yes, these are coaches.
Rough.
I know. Maybe it's not high up coaches because there's lots of coaches on a football team, but there's some chatter out there that's making the news that they're just like, he's a swell guy. I just don't know if he fits.
But
yeah, exactly, and that's horrifying. I try to flip it in my head to be like, all right, then trade the guy, and he goes somewhere and becomes another monster.
Sure,
that's from a fantasy outpoint. That's where I want to see it go.
Mm-hmm.
But I know we'll see. Good thing I have his handcuff because they're all about. Oh my God, I can't remember his name right now.
Khalil Herbert.
Yes.
Yeah,
all
and
about
I was going to
Herbert.
ask. I'm pretty sure I thought you had mentioned before that you had the handcuff, so at least that's a
Yes,
little
I
bit
do
of a
have
cushion
Herbert.
for you.
He's in my taxi squad right now. It is because they like him. He's going to eat away at Montgomery's potential over there.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know. I would need to look into when the contract years are, see what happens, because he could go somewhere and like Baltimore and be a monster.
Baltimore. Are you worried it's going to turn into a 1A situation like over in Green Bay with Montgomery and Herbert?
I'm not super scared of 1A, 1B situations.
Okay.
Because a lot of them in the league in this era of football, they can sustain that.
Okay.
It's not Najee Harris numbers or, bell cow, the workhorse numbers. But if I can average into the double digits, you can win football games that way.
Now, when you say how the league is these days, are you talking about just a quicker pace of play? The league, you just get more. Every running back every player gets more opportunities because you're playing more snaps in an average game.
And it's quicker. Yes.
So I thought you meant
you can sustain that for sure.
Okay.
Just like last week's in my scares is facing the 1A 1B over at Green Bay. I think that is very sustainable for Raul to play.
Okay, a little scary or terrifying. Yeah, it's
for me at least.
Yeah, for sure.
For you, absolutely not. You're like
it's scary being a Bears fan, absolutely. But
okay, yeah.
As not a David Montgomery owner, okay. My terror this week is, and I've talked about him at length before in previous years, is Ravens running backs. I don't like all this different news I'm hearing. You've got Gus Edwards on the PUP list. You got J.K. Dobbins with a noticeable limp. Mike Davis is trending up. And then guess what? You just got Kenyon Drake on your team. And what really makes me nervous season long, and surprisingly does not affect me, I am just nervous for my league mates, but all 4 of those running backs are owned by 4 different people in our league. So my fear is that every 4 weeks, someone else is coming up as the RB1.
Yeah, they're just playing the hot hand.
Yeah, leapfrogging just all year round.
And I love how you say that because I literally just picture all 4 of those running backs playing leapfrog from end zone to end zone in my head. It is like just fully padded. Just here they are, just leapfrogging each other like the grade school game. I love it.
That's awesome. But yeah, I don't like that. I would love to say or hear somebody say this is our number one. When Gus Edwards gets back, I don't know. There's just a lot going on, and I'm very worried about it.
And I can see that terrifying because 4 players potentially to be the number one across 4 different teams.
And that's the issue, is that they're all potential number one leads. J.K. Dobbins, again, he didn't play last year at all, but he blew up at the end of 2020.
Right.
I think, boy, I had it up here.
Yeah, but Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Kenyon Drake, Mike Davis, the potential. They have the potential to all be number one pick, or not picks, but number one running backs over there. But they need that because for some reason, Baltimore backs are injury prone. I don't know what their running back coaches are doing over there.
Right. Yeah, I looked it up. J.K. Dobbins in 2020, starting from week 11 in our league, 17 points. And 13, 13, 14, 13, 36. Those are solid running back.
36. Just blam.
And then 36 at the end of the year.
Blammo.
He was on an uptrend because before then he was only logging 7 points, 2 points, 6 points. He took off at the end of 2020.
Right.
And then he missed all of 2021. Mm-hmm. So, this is supposed to be his comeback, kind of like Michael Thomas, right? This is supposed to be his comeback year. He missed all last season. He's going to, be up and running out of the gate. Just nervous. These players are all owned by different people. Johnny Beetle, Dan, and Melvin. So all 4 of those cats are just kind of sitting and waiting.
Maybe we'll see some trades here in the future.
That would be a fantastic idea. I think at most 2 people should own 4 of those running backs.
Just someone be like, let me get another one of those running backs from another player.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that I might have the number one running back for that team.
If I was Beetle and had J.K. Dobbins, I'd be trying to get.
Who would you get?
Ooh. Wow. See, and that's what terrifies me. I cannot tell you. I can't tell you who's going to be the number 2. I'd like to say Kenyon Drake, but I think he's going to be number 1 out of the gate.
Really? Number 1
I think
out
Kenyon
of the
Drake is going to usurp Mike Davis. He's going to be the number 1 running back at week 1.
Not week 1. Nope.
No.
I guarantee Mike Davis is going to be number 1.
Just because he's only been there for a week?
For 3 days.
3 days?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he will get some looks, some touches, but Mike Davis is going to be the goal line. He's going. Also, we're forgetting about the number 1 rusher over there, their quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
So
you got Lamar on the ground.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Lamar's running the ball.
I completely forgot.
Yeah, their number 1 rusher is not the running back.
That's good.
But I see Mike Davis getting a lot of those goal lines.
Okay.
And
if you're Beetle, you're vying for Mike Davis in a trade.
Maybe not a. That's tough for a trade because that's a year-long thing. Is Mike Davis going to be a year-long commitment? I don't think so. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I'm not going to go and trade for Mike Davis just for week 1.
Is it going to be just for week 1 though? That's the thing.
That's
my whole issue. That's my whole leapfrog issue.
I'm falling into this rabbit hole with you. Why did you get me there?
My fears are spreading.
Lamar Jackson, get him.
Okay.
Whoever's going to have you. Lamar Jackson, get him.
I don't know why we're talking about these running backs. They mean nothing in Baltimore.
Yes.
That's all I've got for my scares and terrors. Are you wanting to...
And fantastic. That's good because we will be right back after this break.
Excellent.
And welcome back to Pigskin Isn't Just for Cooking podcast. Adam Bullock, commish with the dish, here with Evan Forbes, kissing cousins. We're going to jump right back in to the roster cuts, the team moves, the 53-man team. Teams are finalized, and we're going to jump, I guess, dabble back into running backs. Kenyon Drake, Baltimore.
Yeah, he's there now, officially.
I think that's great. I think he's going to... he has potential.
It's good news for Dan week 1.
Kenny Drake has a lot of hate, I know, online.
Does he?
With some other, he's a lot of online statisticians think he's overrated, a bit bloated, I guess, in the sense of that.
Okay.
I think he's just seasoned.
Yeah, that's a better word for it.
You know?
Absolutely. So yeah, he's officially on the Ravens. Good news for Dan. Next, I've got Alexander Madison,
Woo!
your guy, old Alexander sous chef Madison.
He's my sous chef.
He's on the Vikings for now.
He has, I know, piqued interest. 12 teams, right?
12 teams, are reportedly interested in Alexander Madison, which is great news for you.
And potentially great news for me. I cannot see where he lands, to be honest,
Baltimore?
at this point. Baltimore. God damn, no. He's gonna end up with a broken leg or something.
Oh. But you're excited for him hopefully getting out of the shadow of Dalvin Cook?
Yes, he needs it. I did some stats for him while Dalvin Cook was out,
Okay.
right? He averaged 21.6 fantasy points per game.
While Dalvin Cook was not playing.
Right.
Interesting.
Which Dalvin Cook does miss an average of 3 to 4 games a year. So I'm happy to have the handcuff.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have him, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he goes somewhere else, he could be huge.
Yeah.
He averages 25 rushes a game
That's huge.
while he's out.
Yeah.
He averages 105 yards a game off rushing. He averages 6 catches a game for 44 yards a game.
Not bad.
He's a good all-round running back. And the kind of running back that the league is looking for. The pass-catching back.
Yeah.
The workhorse. Over plus 20 rushes.
Mm-hmm.
If you do the catches, that is 31 touches a game.
Yeah. He's seen the ball a lot.
Yeah,
So now let me ask you, because I'm kind of getting new to the whole practice squad and 53-man rosters again because I'm paying more attention this year. So even if the rosters are finalized, does that mean the only viable option is a trade for Alexander Madison, or how does that work?
it would be a trade at this point.
Yeah. You wouldn't be trading picks for next year because you've got to get rid of one of your players on your team? Is that...
Are we talking about our league or in the NFL?
In the NFL. Like, say somebody wants Alexander Madison week 2. Okay, well, both teams, Vikings and whomever, are at their 53-man roster. Does that mean they have to do a straight trade for Alexander Madison? Is that how that works?
Well, it depends.
Okay.
It depends on who's on the IR. They can drop someone to IR.
Okay.
They can drop someone to the PUP list.
Okay. Because
I'm
that does
not-
not affect their 53-man roster.
It shouldn't. No.
Okay.
I don't believe so. I'm not 100% an expert, but thinking forwardly, no,
Yeah.
it shouldn't. It shouldn't affect that. They can. There will be a probably trade for a person, but there'll be draft picks involved.
Oh, okay.
They could drop a player, move someone to their practice team, move someone to the IR list to have that 53-man roster limit. But there's, much like our taxi squad,
Sure.
there is ways outside of the roster limit, right?
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense.
And I'm sure there's wizards out there. That's what general managers are for, or team managers.
You hire people specifically
they
to worry
look
about.
at that.
Yeah.
They crunch numbers.
It's a whole
all
separate
that.
paycheck.
So either or, if Alexander Madison still plays behind Dalvin Cook and Dalvin Cook gets hurt, I have an immediate RB1 to plug in. That's why I traded for him.
Nice.
Also, if he gets traded somewhere, he should be their number one. But right now, I don't see where that's going to happen.
Right.
Off the top of my head, maybe Arizona.
Okay, because you lost Chase Edmonds.
Right.
I got you. You got who? James Conner over in Arizona.
Who is injury prone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see. That's And plus, it's a fun, exciting offense.
I say I'd be excited with that.
Exactly.
I'd be excited to see him over there.
But yeah, off the top of my head, that's the only place I can really see. I hate to say it, New England, maybe.
I don't like running backs in New England.
Well, neither do I. That's why I said I hate to say
outside
it.
of your, yeah. There's a few that are okay that I would still put on a starting lineup, but they're few and far between over the years. So yeah, so we'll just keep an eye on that for the next few weeks of the season. See
Certainly.
if anybody picks them up.
Yes, please.
Next on my list, briefly touched on it. Sony Michel left the Dolphins. He is now on the Chargers.
I love your nickname for him.
PlayStation.
Sony. I love it.
Yeah, I've talked about it earlier. I'm not a big fan of it, but he's in LA again.
I think you're gonna luck out eventually, man.
I look forward to be pleasantly surprised.
And you will be.
Okay. Another one of my guys next on my list is old Jimmy G. My nickname for him, Trade Bait. Highest paid backup quarterback in the NFL right now.
Probably wise.
To keep him on the 49ers?
Yeah. Who else do they have?
Who else do they have? The 49ers? Nobody really, but you've got a young quarterback, and there are other teams I can name off the top of my head right now that would probably benefit from a quarterback.
I'd like to hear that.
Cowboys. They don't have a backup quarterback right now. They've got practice squad quarterbacks.
Yeah, but they don't want the highest paid backup quarterback.
I don't know. Dak Prescott, I would be a lot more comfortable as an owner of his to know that he's got a backup quarterback, and hopefully
I do have a question we should look into about that, though. Is he being paid higher than any starting quarterback? As the highest paid?
I can't imagine.
A rookie quarterback because of rookie deals, maybe?
Are you talking about Jimmy Garoppolo right now?
Yes.
I can't imagine he would... Okay, I'm sure he's getting paid than some starting quarterbacks, but he's definitely not the highest paid quarterback in the league.
No.
Okay, I thought that's what you were saying. I thought you were saying he was the highest paid starting quarterback.
No, as the highest paid backup quarterback in the league, is he being paid more
than David Mills? Yes.
Yeah. Than a lot of the
yes
rookie quarterbacks out there.
Yeah.
Which
Jacoby Brissett, guarantee Jimmy Garoppolo is getting more than Jacoby Brissett right now.
and
if he's not correct, if he's not correct, that's what I'm saying. There's starters out there that are definitely getting paid less than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Man, what a wild precedent they just set.
That's crazy,
right?
That's
for
crazy.
The league. They have to only go up because they have a players union. Like that's how that works.
Yeah,
it is now a sanctioned thing. They have a limit that they can then break again 5 years later.
They've got a guy that can point to you and say, "Hey, why is he making more than me and I'm playing 17 or 16 games a season?"
Right.
I gotcha.
And then they're like, "Oh shoot! Now we have to pay this guy. Now we have to raise our ticket sales to pay this guy."
And then it comes back down to us, the consumers.
And then they're just like, "You better sell jerseys, bro. Do some commercials."
After that, Laviska Shenault. He was on the Jaguars. Now he is on the Panthers.
Johnny picked him up.
He did.
That's good. I've always liked Shenault. I think I had him on my team, right?
Did he upgrade in quarterback to Baker Mayfield from Trevor Lawrence?
That's a really tough question.
I don't have an answer for it. I don't know.
That's a tough question. Baker, yes. Right now, I say yes.
Okay.
He's had more years in the league. Baker Mayfield has had good coaches throughout his career.
Okay. I will say over there, you are competing with DJ Moore. You're competing with
Anderson.
An old Robbie Anderson. Sorry.
He's somehow still relevant.
He absolutely is.
I thought he was going to retire. There was I literally think he said, I read in this offseason that he's like, I think I'm going to retire.
Other than that, you really don't have anybody else. Rashard Higgins, Andre Roberts, and Shi Smith. So,
right.
Yeah, I agree that he will benefit from the move.
It's a better situation. He was buried in the depth charts at Jacksonville behind multiple people. What was it? Zay Jones. Why is my brain crazy today?
I will say, now that Johnny has him, he does have an option of maybe doing a Mayfield Chenault 1-2.
Also, but with Johnny's wide receiver committee, he is a bench stash.
And with his quarterback committee, I don't see a reason besides bye weeks that Johnny would be forced to play Baker Mayfield. He's got Matt Stafford. He's got that little elbow pitching injury.
A baseball injury.
Baseball injury for a quarterback.
Tennis elbow, right? Could be.
But then and he has Kirk Cousins. Those are starters. On his bench, he's got Jameis Winston, who is a starter, Baker Mayfield, who is a starter, Mac Jones, who is a starter. Johnny's okay on quarterback depth, I feel. But depending on, we'll see week 7. Week 7, he's got both his starters on bye week. So maybe he brings up Baker Mayfield. Maybe he does play that quarterback wide receiver combo with Chenault. 6 weeks into the league.
Oh, he does have the combo. That's good. I like that.
6 weeks in, maybe Chenault will be putting up some numbers where Johnny will have that confidence to do that combo. So, or sooner, maybe Baker Mayfield takes off on the Panthers. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. That could happen. But I don't know. I don't know. With he's not proven. He's new to the team. Well, we got DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall. So he's stuck at the number 2 and wide receiver 3. Also with Christian McCaffrey, I think, oh man, Christian McCaffrey's going to have a hell of a year. I think he's back.
Yeah.
That's why I'm terrified of Christian.
I'll say I kind of hope not because I don't own him on my team. So.
Got it. He's back. He's back.
So we'll keep an eye on Chenault, see how he does in this new
it was a good pickup. It was a good trade for both teams, to be honest. Yeah, I'm excited.
Right on.
It's going to be some fun football. I'm excited this year. We get to look at everything. That's the best thing about fantasy football.
Exactly.
Is the scope.
Get to pay attention to everybody.
Exactly. I don't have a favorite. I get asked all the time, who's your favorite football team? I'm just like, well, my fantasy team. That's my go-to answer these days.
It's an eclectic answer.
Well,
a bunch of teams.
Because also I put a lot of time into it, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of exciting football, next on my list is the Marlon Mack news. So Marlon Mack, running back for the Texans, Beadle owns him. He was cut by the Texans and then re-signed on by the Texans.
That is a common strategy for the 53-man roster stuff.
Okay.
They hope that they get through the waivers, no one picks them up, sign them to the practice squad. I'm just really surprised by that. I like Marlon Mack. From what I read, he's like, dude, I'm back.
Right.
Let's get it. Damian Pierce showed up. It's killer, bro.
And that was my issue. It's like, are you saying that you prefer to have Marlon Mack on your team over a Rex Burkhead?
Yes.
Right, but that's not what they said because they didn't drop Rex Burkhead. They kept him. He's 32 years old. This is his 10th year in the league.
He's their pass catching.
He is a pass catching back, 100%. But if I'm picking between the two, I'm picking Mack every time. Now you've got Royce Freeman on the team.
Oh, they picked up Royce?
That's what I just saw.
I didn't even see that.
Also, I have a signed Royce Freeman question mark.
Something snuck past me? That's crazy.
That's what am I even been? No, because I typed this out. So it would have been yesterday.
No, he's been signed.
He has been officially signed.
Re-signs with Houston. Well, he's been there, right? He knows the playbook.
Sure.
But I'd want Damian Pierce to be working with Marlon Mack.
That's what I would expect.
That's what I guess we can only think from a fantasy standpoint. We're not there on the field watching these things.
Sure.
We're in a room doing a podcast, not actually out on the field.
We don't know the relationship these guys, the back and forth these guys are building, how comfortable they feel with the schemes.
Absolutely.
We don't know any of that noise. So, but again, my takeaway was you're putting your faith over Royce Freeman before Marlon Mack. I don't agree with it. We'll just see how it plays out later on in the season. But really what I'm more excited to watch is my guy Damian Pierce and this Texans offense.
Wee! Yes, him and I think they're, besides for Brandon Cooks is going to have a good year, but I'm excited for their young team.
Yeah.
Nico Collins, Damian Pierce, Davis Mills.
You got a young quarterback.
Yeah, they look exciting. Too bad John Michie got injured. He was a great draft pick for them. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think they're gonna be underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, even just what was it? They zeroed out. They held San Francisco to
Oh, that's
nada
right.
on
That's
the
right.
final preseason game where you start your starters. Like, bro,
You're right.
I'm excited. We could see the Texans finally show up.
Finally.
You know.
Excellent. Next on my list, Jalen Reagor.
Meh.
Traded by the Eagles. He's in Minnesota now.
He was a first round pick, so he should have been good. He didn't show up. I don't know if he translated well into the NFL.
You're an Adam Thielen owner?
I am.
Are you nervous about this?
Absolutely not.
Okay. He's solidified his place behind Justin Jefferson as a number 2.
He's the number 2, but he's the go-to red zone target.
Okay.
If they're passing the ball more. They got a new offense.
Yeah.
A more pass-friendly offense. Mm-hmm. Which I'm also now a Delvin Cook owner from trades this year.
Okay.
Which could be very exciting too.
Yeah. Okay, so not worried. That was my only thing, is I didn't know how this was going to affect Thielen or KJ Osborne.
It affects KJ Osborne more.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And is he owned in our league?
Yes.
Did he get?
I think by either Beetle or Mile High.
Mile High.
Yeah.
So if you're Mile High, you're a little bit worried about that news. But then again, you weren't having KJ Osborne as one of your lean-on wide receivers. So
No. And most of this list isn't really lean on, besides maybe the top 3 that we went over.
Right. That's
the running backs.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, next then is Phil Lindsay, released by the Colts. Mile High's got him. As far as I know, he is not on anybody's radar right now.
Mile High's got running back issues.
He does have running back issues.
I tried to trade with him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but that's okay. Maybe the trade will happen eventually. But it's okay for now. That sucks. I kind of liked Phil Lindsay at Indy. That gave him good depth. Mm-hmm. But great news for me, to be honest.
Sure.
Because I got their number 2.
Oh, is that right?
Nyheim Hines.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm a little worried about Mile High because, again, running back issues. He's got 6 running backs, I think. One of them is Phil Lindsay, not on a team. Isaiah Spiller was another one of his running backs. Now he's got Trey Sermon as a running back who's on a new team.
Yeah, that's good. That's looking up. Yeah.
Might help him out.
For Philly, I think that's great because 0 touchdowns last year. You got to have someone who could score touchdowns. Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be an up year for him.
Next, I've got Josh Gordon.
On drugs.
Is that right?
I don't know.
Oh.
That's literally just on my notes. Josh Gordon on drugs.
He was visiting the Titans. I don't think any decisions have been made. I don't think there's any other new news besides he is just visiting the Titans.
If he could have just stayed out of trouble, man, would have been a fantastic. Oh, new news?
He is signed with the Titans.
We got an update?
He is signed with the Titans. Yeah. Signed with the Titans. This is his 11th year. He's a 31-year-old receiver. Nobody owns him. Are you picking him up if you're in need of a wide receiver? Is he going to be somebody on your...
I'm absolutely considering it.
Yeah, he's playing behind Robert Woods, Treylon Burks.
That's it.
Nickel Westbrook Akine.
Yeah.
Akine. So, better offense he's going to?
Man, in his prime, Josh Gordon was great.
Started with the Browns, is that right?
I think so.
I think so, too.
He was good. If he just... The off-the-field issues...
Is that what it
really
was?
messed
Drug
him
stuff?
up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't privy to that information, so...
And, and at the time, I don't know all of it, but it was probably, if I remember right, don't quote me on this, but I think it was marijuana.
Ugh, the horror.
I know.
Last year, he barely played.
It's going marijuana going into next week's scares and terrors.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'd like to see him play a full season. Like I said, last year, he didn't play higher than 40% snaps on those are the games that he played. Missed a lot of time last year.
Kansas City has super crowded wide receiver room. They didn't have the room for it.
Maybe he's got a little breathing room on the Texans or the Titans.
I'm surprised the Titans. I'm surprised New England didn't try to go for him.
We'll see. 3 weeks from now.
They seem to like Bill Belichick likes to therapize and bring back rehabilitate old wide receivers. Yes.
Nice. So yeah, we'll see. Give him a few weeks, see if he makes some magic on that new offense, and we might be talking about him in week 4. Mm-hmm. Next on my list, I've got Kellen Mond, backup quarterback. He was with the Vikings
for a while, right?
Backing up Kirk Cousins. This is his second year, I believe.
Oh, really?
Second or third year. I know he's a younger quarterback. Anyways, he's on the Browns right now. He is owned by Chris Alex. I want to say this is only his second year. Give me just a second, and I will be able to pull that up.
That's a good spot to go.
To the Browns?
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, he has 11 weeks to prove that he can start.
Yeah. Now you're right. But see, I thought.
What if Jacoby Brissett gets hurt?
That's true. That is true. I just thought he would have had a better. I thought he would have been better for at least our league, a dynasty league, in Minnesota.
Right.
Because Kirk Cousins is getting up there.
He is, but Cousins is a reliable top 10 QB.
Sure.
Every year.
That's
is really odd. He's like the underrated, reliable QB.
Yeah. I've had him. I mean, my team name is Kissing Cousins. I was a big Kirk Cousins fan when he was in.
Oh, so that's what it is. I'm just kidding.
When he was. The Commanders,
right?
But they were the other name.
It was the old. I'm Kirk Cousins. I'm gonna throw a touchdown now.
Yeah, anyway, Kirk Cousins. You like that? You like that? One of my favorite NFL gifts of all time. But really, my issue is with Chris Alex because Chris Alex is trying to develop a younger quarterback squad now.
Yes.
With Kellen Mond being on the Vikings, maybe in 3-4 years. He's your guy now. I looked it up. This is Kellen Mond's second year.
Okay.
Young quarterback. Now you're going to the Browns. Now you're behind Jacoby Brissett. You're going to be behind Deshaun Watson when he gets back. Didn't they have another quarterback out there too, Joshua Dobbs. You're behind so many more quarterbacks, and 2 of which have played NFL games. I felt like he was a better fit in Minnesota for Chris Alex and his team.
I wonder why he didn't make the team.
I don't know. I didn't really see any information on it. Other than that, he was let go and then claimed by Cleveland.
Yeah, off the waivers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off waivers.
No, it's smart. I mean, Cleveland's got a QB carousel going on.
Right.
What, throw a dart. What's going to happen?
Exactly.
We don't know.
And that's why if I'm Chris Alex, I'd have been more comfortable had he stayed in Minnesota.
Right.
Being a dynasty league.
I agree with that for sure.
So, moving right along, we've got Trey Sermon. Right now, he was cut by the Niners, and he is officially a Eagle now.
I was shocked by that drop.
Really? From the Niners?
Yes.
He's a good player, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to look it up.
Yeah, go ahead. Mile High's got him. And again, we kind of mentioned Mile High has some sort of quarterback issues, but maybe this is going to be a good thing for Mile High. But again, you're going to Philadelphia. You're playing behind Miles Sanders, which might be a great thing. Again, if we're trying to get some touchdowns on the board, maybe Trey Sermon is going to, usurp that Miles Sanders role. I don't know. But I think it might help Mile High. You're also, behind Miles Sanders, you got Kenneth Gainwell. And then you've got a guy that you really liked before, Boston Scott.
Yeah, that's tough. I did like Boston.
But you liked him when he was on the Bills.
Yeah.
So.
Well, sometimes some things I like don't end up being true. So, yeah, the one thing what I was just looking up, because I just wanted to make sure I was right.
Sure.
But I knew before I looked it up, but that Trey Sermon was drafted before Elijah Mitchell
Is that right?
in the draft. Yes.
For the Elijah Mitchell's on the Jets still? Is that right?
No,
No, he's on the
on the Niners.
No, he's on the Niners.
Yes. Trey Sermon was drafted, I think, 88th overall,
Okay.
while Trey Sermon was 194th. I'm sorry. Elijah Mitchell was 194th. Trey Sermon was 88th overall.
And they dropped Trey Sermon before.
Big gap. But Elijah Mitchell, he showed up. He
Sure.
showed up to camp. He's their number 1 overall.
Sure.
Right? Probably a top 20 pick in redraft formats. So I was quite surprised that they didn't take a chance to keep Trey Sermon and do that. I know they dropped him to pick up a defensive player that they needed.
Yeah.
But, I mean, someone going, 88th? That's the 3rd round?
Mm-hmm.
He's got potential, right? So Philly, that's a great pickup for him. If Miles Sanders goes touchdownless again, it's because of Trey Sermon.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's possibly good news for Beetle. Beetle is the one who owns Elijah Mitchell. He is dealing with some hamstring stuff right now.
He's their number 1.
We'll get over
Besides
it.
for Debo. Debo's going to... If they use Debo in the running back situation.
So you're saying this move benefits both equally Beetle and Mile High. It elevates Elijah Mitchell and
Trey Sermon? Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. I think that's a good for everybody. Good for the league.
Nice. I like
Our
it.
league, at least. Not the football league.
You're right. Our league. I mean, the NFL, whatever. It's our league that counts. A couple more here. Oldie but a goodie, O.J. Howard.
Woo!
Cut by the Bills. I believe he's officially signed with the Texans. He was going to go to the Bengals.
Right.
He visited the Bengals, maybe even. But now he is, I believe, officially a Texan. I don't think he's on their depth chart yet.
Is he still on the waiver wire?
He is a free agent, yeah.
Woo!
Yes, he is a free
Who's
agent.
picking him up?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to make a wager on that. Who's going to pick him up?
Who is going to pick up O.J. Howard? It's his 5th year in the league, so still a young tight end for the most part, 27 years old. Yeah, he is a free agent. I think he's going to get some work on the Texans. Again,
Yeah, it's bad news for Brevin Jordan, who Melvin has.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking Melvin might pick him up, but I see Brevin is on his taxi squad, so he might not pick him up.
Yeah.
But I think O.J. Howard's going to fit right in at the Texans. Look out for the Texans
We
this
keep
year,
saying
huh?
it. It's going to be a fun team to watch this year.
Yeah, what?
Absolutely.
Look out for the Texans this year.
Absolutely. Last one I have, sir, is this whole Dak Prescott situation in Dallas. So they cut Cooper Rush and Will Greer, the 2 backup quarterbacks, and they signed them to the practice squad.
So they still have a backup.
But here's my issue. From what I've read, the practice squad does not travel on away games.
Okay.
So there is no backup on the team for Dak Prescott. So if Dak Prescott gets hurt in Washington, they're bringing in a receiver to throw for the rest of that game. It makes me nervous.
Tony Pollard. Let's get it.
Tony Pollard, yeah. Throwing himself the ball.
Well, I think they would go the route that, or maybe even a tight end, someone tall who can throw the ball over the top of their giant linesman. But go the route like New Orleans did with Hill.
Yeah.
Someone who can throw the ball but also run the option, like play some college football.
Sure.
The Wildcats.
Yeah.
There's ways around that,
Okay. I would be more comfortable if I was a Cowboys fan.
So they cut both QBs and signed them both to the practice squad?
Yes. You look at the NFL depth charts right now for the actual team roster,
There's
it is
nobody.
Dak Prescott and nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So they're still... That's so wild.
Yeah.
Why not just...
Bring one of them up. Cooper Rush.
What?
Bring him up to the actual
Why
team.
Cooper Rush? Why not Will Greer?
No idea. It's the first name I saw. It's the first name I typed out, so it's the first name I said.
Gotcha.
My only thought process is, are they doing that to make room for other positions on the team?
Yes, absolutely. They got to. They have to.
I don't know.
And their wide receiver crew is slim.
Maybe they're looking at a lot of defensive players. Maybe they're bulking up their defense with an extra man.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what's going on over there.
I just don't feel comfortable with not having a backup for. I've never seen that on the even on the app. There's always at least 2 quarterback listed on the teams.
It's interesting. I want to know what's going on. Maybe I'll send a well-pointed email to the Dallas Cowboys Corporation.
Jerry Jones, what are you doing?
Yo, Jerry, you getting old, bro?
Oh, who is it now? It's Mike, or who's their head coach?
Head coach, the Green Bay coach.
Yeah. Mike something? What the fuck is it?
The fuck? Watch the Green Bay.
Yeah,
it's Central Illinois.
Don't care. Well, buddy, that is all I have for the moves in 53-man news.
Yeah, no, and that's the news, and that's a lot of it. We're gearing up. Finally, hey, next week when we have episode 4, we're gonna have stats and football to talk about.
Yes. So we will have already, by the time we're recording this on a Friday, next week we'll probably be recording on a Saturday, I believe.
Yeah.
We're doing the switch. So we
we'll
will
see what
already
happens.
have seen the Rams and Bills game Thursday the 8th.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that then.
Yeah.
So all our podcasts, we will be able to analyze the Thursday game and then talk about forward how the weekend is exciting and how it's going to play out. The only stats we have to look at right now are our waiver wire moves.
Yeah. In the past, it's Melvin. Melvin is the guy making moves.
In my head, if there's moves being made, it's still Melvin.
And he's usually beating us, the next person, in moves by like 15 to 20 moves.
Right. But that's not the case anymore.
Not the case.
We have Raul and Daskell up at number 1 and 2 with Raul 14 and Daskell 13 moves already. That might be added to today. I think there was a couple moves I woke up to this morning.
There was 2 moves this morning. Mm-hmm. Daskell was one of them. Might have been both of them.
Oh no, it wasn't. Daskell was on. It was Adam, Mile High. Picked up Amir Abdullah.
Oh, Viking or Raiders.
Liverpool. Yeah, it's Liverpool. Sorry,
Liverpool.
LV. Sorry. Other football.
Whoa.
Whoopsie. I see LV, I think Liverpool. Las Vegas. Running back. You spent $5 on him.
Oh.
That was, you could have got that guy for free.
I was going to say, had you asked me, don't bid on him. Nobody's picking him up.
Not
that they shouldn't pick him up.
And Melvin made an extra move to go to 8 moves on the season, so he's catching up with Raul and Daskell.
Yeah.
For Hillard at Tennessee, the backup running back, his handcuff. Great pickup by Melvin. I've been eyeballing him. He's one of my starred players on my watch list. I couldn't find a spot for him.
What do you pay for him?
0.
Nice job, Melvin.
Got his handcuff for free.
Good on you.
Yes.
Good move.
That's good stuff. And I'm surprised. I only have 2 moves.
Right. I've got 2 or 3.
Had more. Maybe I'm just starring players and not committing to the moves.
I've
done more trades. That's what I've done. I've been doing trades instead of doing the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Chris Alex at 9 moves. Johnny at 8. Melvin at 8 now. Forbes in here as me. Has 2 moves.
I have 2 moves.
Mile High at 2 moves. And Beetle and Dan sitting at 0.
Haven't made a move yet.
They just, I wonder if they know when football's starting, because last night Dan was like, wait, football starts next week?
Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, bro.
I would assume Beetle knows. I feel like Beetle... I know Dan likes football and watches football, but I feel like nowadays it's pretty much only because of fantasy football. I feel like Dan always kind of kept his ear to the ground a little bit as far as Bears are concerned. I feel like Beetle is more of a football fan than Dan.
Yeah. He's definitely a baseball fan, but, Beetle's the old school guy that football's playing on, or sports are playing on the radio. Wherever he's at.
Yeah.
Sports are on the radio.
That's probably it. Beetle's probably just more engrossed in baseball right now. Cubs are still playing games.
Right.
So maybe that's why he hasn't made any moves. No time for
Beetle
it.
has a nice young team.
Yeah.
In a dynasty format, he has a very fun team and to keep an eye on.
Beetle is a guy who I don't think I've really talked about as far as being concerned about any of his players injury-wise. His team is pretty solid because half of his team is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't deny that. But no, a super young team that in this offseason had some good moves. Marquise Brown moving to Arizona on his team was great for him.
Yeah.
Leaving Baltimore, I think that could really blow up on our faces. Beetle's team is consistently going to make the playoffs, is my prediction.
I don't want to hear that.
So, and with that, we thank you guys for listening. To everyone around the world, the globe, This is Adam, commissioned with the dish, also known as Just Bob Browson It. Happy trees, happy clouds for all you family out there.
Forbes, kissing cousins. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.